Force Lightning, also known as Sith Lightning, was a power that Force users associated with the dark side of the Force could conjure. By reaching into the darkest depths of their desires and hatred, they could conjure a torrent of blue, red, and purple Force Lightning, depending on their affinity with the ability. Force Lightning was a well-known Force ability, surpassing even Force Choke, and possibly even telekinesis in forms of popularity in the Star Wars community, used to blast dangerous electrical bolts that could incinerate and rip the flesh from individuals, most often by practitioners of the dark side of the Force, especially that of the Sith Lords such as Darth Sidious, Darth Vitia, and Darth Maugus, being three of its notable practitioners and masters. The ability was commonly referred to as Sith Lightning due to the affiliations of its typical users and manipulations of lightning. Darth Plagueis famously quoted a special quote about Force Lightning, saying that a Jedi sufficiently strong in the Force can be trained to produce a fast smile but not true Sith Lightning, which, unabated, has the power to not only incapacitate or kill, but to physically transform the victim. Force Lightning requires strength of a sort only a Sith can command, because we accept consequence and reject compassion. To do so requires a thirst for power that is not easily satisfied. The Force tries to resist the callings of ravenous spirits, therefore it must be broken and made a beast of burden. It must be made to answer one's will, but the Force cannot be treated differentially. In order to summon and use lightning properly, you will someday have to be on the receiving end of its power as a means of taking the energy inside yourself." End quote. Force Lightning was almost a purely offensive and energy-based power that channeled Force energy down the user's limbs, conducting high-velocity bolts of electricity and arcing bolts and lines of electricity through the air from the wielder's fingertips or palms. Force Lightning could be executed with either one or two hands. Powerful discharges would branch out into dozens of smaller faults. Thus, skilled practitioners could target 7 foes at once, and even incinerate their flesh simultaneously. The intensity of Force Lightning varied based on a number of factors. Users skilled in controlling the intensity and force of their lightning could render a target unconscious with only a short burst, or kill a person instantly with a single powerful blast. Darth Bane's lightning, for example, would often electrocute his opponents to death on mere contact. Galen Merrick, also known as Starkiller, the false apprentice of Darth Vader, was another Force user who could channel lightning that would kill on contact. Both Kyle Katarn and Darth Sidious could conjure lightning so powerful that would not only instantly kill its targets, it would physically hurt them backwards. In Legends continuity, Sidious's lightning was so great it could incinerate his opponents instantly, ripping their flesh from their body and ripping their organs apart. The latter's usage of powerful was enough to render anyone caught in charred husks if used to its full potency, as demonstrated by his execution of Headmaster Gentis for his military coup against him. Galen Merrick's clone and Sidious were able to produce lightning at such intensity that it literally vaporized their targets in a split second. The fact that it caused not only severe physical damage but also unbearable agony to the victim led it to being widely used as a form of torture, such as when Darth Maugus, post the events of the Battle of Alderaan, is severely wounded from his duel with Satele Shan, ruthlessly murdered 2 Jedi with it, feeding on their suffering to augment his dark side ability. Darth Maul, as well as Luke Skywalker, were tortured with lightning by Sidious, and Darth Malak used it upon Bastila Shan during the Old Republic era, having captured her upon the Leviathan ship, and having brought her to Lehon, where he converted her to the dark side of the Force. Due to the fact that Force Lightning was, at its core, simply electricity generated by the dark side, you would not expect it to take on multiple meanings and multiple colours. But, acolytes, it does. Join us today, curious acolytes of the galaxy, and curious practitioners of the light and dark side of the Force, as we delve into the greater mysteries of Force Lightning. Learn why it's so potent, and what each colour means, and what you can do to defend yourself against it. Are you ready? Let's begin. A quick note before we head into today's video. I have noticed that not all the docking ships that reach our like button have liked the video, and not all Sith Lords and Jedi Masters that dwell on our videos have Force crushed and strike down the subscribe button with their blade. I would heavily advise this, and this comes from the ears of Master Yoda himself. Hit the subscribe button, you must. Well, you heard him. You gotta hit the subscribe button. Besides, Yoda never lies, does he? One last note before we begin. Later in the week, I'll be uploading a video on the 13 different variations of Force Lightning and how they are used differently in the user's ideals. I hope you tune in for that video after learning about the horrifying Sith ability in this one. Or will you be too charred for this? Will you be too scarred for life after seeing the horrifying husks that Force Lightning induces onto its victims? With that out of the way, acolytes, I implore you to continue as we delve into the darkness. We descend into the horrors and terrifying effects of Force Lightning. I would also like to add that this video in particular, aside from my others which mainly consist of facts, will contain much theory and speculation I myself have embarked on in my many years of research and study in the art of Sith Lightning. While I would like to add also that there is not a memorized definition for every lightning color, and this will purely be mostly speculation unless I have scavenged some purely proven facts from the depths of the old Sith texts. With that out of the way, acolytes, prepare to face the wrath of Force Lightning on a Sidious scale level. A wide variety of other Star Wars YouTubers like myself and acolytes of the Force claim that there is a definitive fact with the coloration of Force Lightning and their definition. However, sadly, this is not the case, as the ancient texts containing the color meanings of Force Lightning have been lost to time, and we on the channel currently do not know and do not have the honor of being knowledgeable on the fact of all the different lightning colors, as there is not a definitive definition provided by legends or canon continuity beings in the Lucasfilm official. Nevertheless, despite this obvious setback, we will be delving into the ancient Sith scrolls, texts, manuscripts, and holocrons to uncover as much information about the lightning colors and their definitions as we physically and mentally can, doing our utmost to recover the fragments of information that might have been lost to time during the age of the Rakata or the rule of the Sith Emperor Vitia. We will be doing our best to scavenge for the remains of ancient relics and tombs in order to discover the true meaning behind Force Lightning. Join us, acolytes, as we study the in-depth method of the Sith. Starting off with the first and possibly weakest of all the lightning colors, we have blue lightning, the most common one by far. Blue lightning was most commonly used by low-level and low-power Sith apprentices such as Count Dooku, also known as Darth Tyrannus, in his Sith attire. Blue lightning was conducted by concentrating all of your inner hatred in a duel, calling upon your inner anger, pain, and hatred, and also an extra dose of suffering in order to produce a conducted loop of blue Force Lightning. While blue Force Lightning and all colorations of Force Lightning was powerful in their own right, blue lightning was considered by many to be the weakest and least effective, used mainly as a torture method and a lesson by Sith Lords and low-level Sith Lords in the Order, such as Count Dooku, as I stated before. This was used mainly in the Clone Wars by Count Dooku, when he used it on Savage Opress after trying to educate the Might Brother in the Force, and having him not succeed to Dooku's high standards he was promised by Mother Talzin, the Dathomirian witch, who I will be making a video about shortly on the channel, as she is one of the most intriguing characters in Star Wars mythos. Blue lightning was conducted by a low-level Sith Lord like Count Dooku, as I have stated previously. It was also important to note that higher-level pioneers of the ability, such as Starkiller, Galen Merrick, Darth Maugus, and many others have used Blue Force Lightning during their respective missions, with Galen Merrick using it to take down Darth Vader during the Force Unleashed game, and Darth Maugus using it in the sacking of Coruscant to brutally batter through the defenses of 3 Jedi Knights. This is an incredible feat, as Darth Maugus and Galen Merrick were both two of the most skillful and powerful Force Lightning bearers in all of Star Wars history. with Maugus even pioneering the ability of Force Maelstrom, an ability which I will surely make a video about once I delve into the Star Wars lore more deeply and learn the true meaning behind the ability. However, it is important to note that purple does not always surpass blue, while many consider purple to be the more aesthetically pleasing and superior to blue lightning. In canon, during the Rise of Skywalker, and more specifically the Battle of Exegol, after Palpatine has absorbed the dyad and the Force presented to him by Rey and Kylo Ren, Palpatine uses blue Force lightning, unleashing a tempest of torrents of arcs of lightning into the sky from his Sith chamber. He does this to take down the rebel fleet, which are assaulting the Final Order, a fleet of ships with miniaturized Death Star cannons that can eviscerate planets from the star systems they are a part of in seconds. Essentially, an entire fleet of over 250 Star Destroyers mounted with Death Star lasers. Can you believe how deadly that would be if that was unleashed upon the galaxy? It makes the Yuzong Vong technology look like a child's toy thing. With me stating earlier that coloration does not deduct and determine the lightning color's power, as proficiency in the ability can also allude to its power. Blue is considered by many to be the inferior to purple and many of the other lightning colors. Even so, it is deadly and righteous in its own right, and is a truly horrifying dark side ability to be up against on the battlefield. Now we are traversing on to the next of the lightning colours, and personally my favourite. Not only this is my favourite colour of all time. We have purple lightning. Purple lightning, like blue lightning, was utilised by calling upon the user's innermost hatred and utmost rage, anger, feeding off the suffering of others in order to augment blades and eviscerated strikes of lightning. Arcs of power that spiraled through the air and stunned and even incinerated opponents. Notable practitioners of this purple lightning were some of my favourite Sith Lords to ever grace the Star Wars galaxy. The father of the Rule of Two in Darth Bane utilised this ability to devastating effect, killing a Jedi Master with it instantaneously, with his proficiency in this ability being unrivaled for his time. Another notable user was Darth Sidious, whose proficiency in this ability was so great it was said that he could incinerate multiple opponents simultaneously by unleashing a full bolt of purple lightning that could incinerate and eviscerate his opponents utterly condemning them to a horrible fate that few could hope to bear. And finally, we have what I believe to be a rival, if not superior to Palpatine in the art of Force lightning. We have Darth Vitia, also known as Valkorion and Tenebrae. Darth Vitia was able to use his lightning, at a weaker level I should add, during the reign of Valkorion and the infinite attack of the Eternal Empire, dominating the Jedi and Sith alike in their relentless crusade, with Valkorion, Valen, Arkan, and Thexan utterly dominating the galaxy and putting it under the thrall of their dark side power. During this conflict, and during the last conflict actually, Valkorion himself was able to use a barrage and tempest of Force lightning to utterly and completely eviscerate Darth Maul, a Sith Lord who had held on to his spot on the Dark Council for over 4 decades, acquiring it when he was merely a teenager. This is notable because Darth Maul was considered to be a threat to Valkorion's rule, and this comes from Emperor Vitia, a Sith Lord who I consider to be just shy of Darth Nihilus's true Force potential, with a midichlorian count possibly surpassing that of Sidious's, clocking in at around 25,000. There were few abilities and powerful beings in all of Star Wars legends and canon that had the ability to use Force lightning to the effect that Darth Bane, Emperor Vitia, and Darth Sidious could. If I was to speculate why many consider purple to be ahead of blue in the art of lightning, I would say that purple required deeper and emotions to be called upon, like hate, feeding off the suffering of others, pain, anger, and utter determination to eviscerate and completely incinerate your enemies, such as Darth Sidious did at the height of his power. Sidious was able to instantly vaporize multiple enemies at the same time with his torrents of purple lightning. While blue lightning was considered powerful, it fell shy of purple by a tremendous amount, with blue lightning being called upon with the emotions in mind of lust for power, simple anger, and rage, like Darth Maugus displays during the new Legacy of the Sith trailer when he uses on Sahar-Kateen and Beldam Orr, a Jedi Master, and his Padawan, notable for their proficiency in the art of the Jedi. Although Maugus easily proved the superior to both of them, effortlessly dominating the Jedi Master and his Padawan like a child playing with toys. In my opinion, another reason contributing to why Purple Lightning was superior was due to the fact that Purple Lightning called more deeply on the hatred and desire to kill your enemies, while Blue Lightning focused on anger and rage. This would explain why Palpatine and Sith Emperor Vitia were able to effortlessly incinerate and utterly cripple their opponents using Purple Lightning, as hatred is in fact the most powerful and potent dark side emotion that can be felt in the entire galaxy and timeline of galactic history. This has been proven by Vitia, Palpatine, and especially Darth Maugus, because Darth Maugus, despite not being, and his purpose not being delegated to being a Force prodigy, and rather being a Sith warrior, an attacker and general in the front lines of the Sith Empire during the reign of Vitia, Maugus was able to use Force Lightning to such a high degree he could pioneer new abilities such as the likes of Force Maelstrom and unleash deadly torrents of lightning that could eviscerate and incinerate his opponents, such as he did during the Battle of Alderaan, where he was able to use a low-level Force Lightning blast for him and hold back Jace Malcolm, a clone trooper whose determination drove him to attack the Sith Lord in the first place. This would explain why more hateful Sith, like Darth Maugus, and other Sith Marauders like Darth Vader, although he could not use this ability, he would have been able to if not given his cyborg prosthetics, were able to use Force Lightning using their hate and surpassing other Sith using Blue Force Lightning, but not clocking in at Purple Force Lightning like Palpatine and Vitia did so many times effortlessly. Anyway, that is just my personal speculation. Tell me what you think down below in the comments section. I love hearing your votes and ideas on what videos I should do next. So remember, the comment section is always open, like the trade routes of the galaxy far, far away. Moving on, Acolytes, we have the most potent and powerful form of Force Lightning known to us in canonical and Legends continuity. We have Red Force Lightning. While it has never been explicitly stated that it is the most powerful, there is a variety of rock-hard evidence that supports this statement, with it being used by the Sun, the literal embodiment of the dark side of the Force, during the arc of Mortis, in which Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan were stranded on the planet of Mortis, and with Force-wielding cosmic family known as the Ones, with the daughter being the literal embodiment of the light side, the Sun encompassing everything the dark side hopes to be, and the Father being the balance that unifies them all. While in Legends continuity, the Mother Abeloth was also a dark side entity, more powerful than even the Sun. We choose to ignore this, as Abeloth in Legends has not used any form of Force Lightning. However, if a book is released later in life that depicts Abeloth using Force Lightning, I will be sure to cover it here on the channel. Aside from the Sun, the third most powerful being in Star Wars canon to ever exist in the Star Wars galaxy, and possibly even verging on the second if he defeats the Force Priestesses in a duel. It is also backed up by the fact that Darth Vader, if he had not been confined to his cybernetic suit and been crippled on Mustafar by Obi-Wan Kenobi, would have used this ability. Where do you get this information from, you ask, Star Wars brainbusters? Well, I have the key right here. In the Darth Vader issue number 25 and 26, we see Darth Vader enter the Dark Dimension, a dimension that allows anybody to achieve anything they want. Darth Vader did this in a way to get Padme back and fuel his passion for her and fuel his dark side power, augmenting it in order to one day overthrow Emperor Sheev Palpatine and rule the Empire, laying claim to it like a dog with his steak. Other Force users, such as Darth Tenebrous, the master of Darth Plagueis in Star Wars Legends, used Red Force Lightning. However, it should be noted that just because you had Red Force Lightning did not mean that you were exceptionally skilled in the other areas of the Force and in lightsaber combat. It should be noted, and it was stated by many Sith and Jedi alike, that Palpatine was a more intricate and proficient user of Force Lightning than Darth Tenebrous could ever have dreamed to be. Tenebrous using red and Palpatine using purple. This means that in some circumstances, if the user is proficient and skilled enough with the ability, purple can even sometimes surpass red. However, this does not take away red's innate ability and sudden side effects that are tyrannical and horrifying to behold. Red Force Lightning was famously known for being able to have the sudden side effect of stripping an enemy from their Force attunement entirely, stripping their connection to the Force utterly, and leaving them a lifeless husk. Darth Maugus also used Red Force Lightning, using it to incinerate his opponents instantly, similar to Palpatine's mastery over Purple Force Lightning. It is also noted that Red Force Lightning was not an ability that you could learn or master through the art of Sith text, rituals, amulets, artifacts, and manuscripts. It was an ability you were born with, an innate channeling of the dark side that you could not learn unless you were born with it. This is possibly why Palpatine did not use Red Force Lightning, as he was simply not born with the potential and with the proficiency in the ability, not born with the ability to use Red Force Lightning and adopt a bloody red coloration. However, it is strange that Palpatine, possibly in the top 3 or 5 most powerful Sith Lords to ever live in Legends and Canon continuity, could not use Red Force Lightning, while other Sith Lords, such as Darth Tenebrous, a Sith Lord that was severely weaker than the likes of Palpatine, could in fact use this dark side ability. Nevertheless, despite all these amazing feats Red Force Lightning has portrayed, it is not always considered to be the most powerful. While it is considered now to be the most powerful, there is no definitive answer and confirmation that it is the most powerful variant of Force Lightning. However, it was certainly the most feared, if anything. This was mainly due to its association with the Sun, the literal embodiment of the dark side of the Force, and the most proficient dark side user in all of Star Wars Legends and Canon, with the exception of perhaps only Abeloth edging him out a slices of margins. Following this, we have White Force Lightning. White Force Lightning has only been ever seen in one Legends article, being used by a group of and a sect of devotees to the Force known as the Hidden Ones, and utilized by their leader, the Hidden One. White Force Lightning, akin to many of his other variations, cousins, and colorations in Star Wars Legends continuity, is a color that I would love to see expanded upon in the new Disney canon and some of the TV shows upcoming in the Star Wars galaxy. The Hidden One was a member of the Balador sect and a member of the Keldor species, the same species that many renowned Jedi Masters, including my favourite Jedi of all time in Plo Koon, would later on become a member of the species and be abducted into the Jedi Order to be a trainee and knight of the Jedi and the Republic. It should be noted that the Barondos cult possessed a wide array of Force abilities and manipulation tactics in relation to the Force and its light side, and more specifically its grey side, that were out of the norm for traditional Jedi, being outright forbidden or banned, or otherwise most Jedi were unable to use these unorthodox techniques and Force abilities at all, with one of them being weather manipulation. Weather manipulation was a power used by many beings in the universe of fiction. Weather manipulation caused the weather to change to the user's desires, sometimes induced upon the skies due to their moods in the form of Thor, the god of thunder from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In many occasions, there are a variety of other weather manipulation beings that have manipulated the weather in their respective arc and superhero and supervillain arc they have been a part of in their respective universes. I highly suggest you branch out into other various universes in order to uncover more knowledge and not just dwell on the limitless Star Wars knowledge that I have examined. It is speculated that White Force Lightning was one of these unorthodox abilities used by the Barad-dûr sages and their cult, used by the Hidden One in Legends continuity in a duel with Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Where this is at Acolytes, I currently don't know in the Star Wars time, although in this duel, Luke Skywalker was easily able to repel and redirect the lightning using his emerald blade, and later came out on top nearly effortlessly. This is unquestionably one of the more unorthodox and unseen abilities in all of the Star Wars mythos. It is speculated by many Star Wars fans and channels, including myself, to be a variation of the Electric Judgment ability. Electric Judgment was an ability that we will be touching on later today. Electric Judgment was utilized by Plo Koon and took the form of a light side variation of Force Lightning, while still possessing the not lethal effects that were incorporated into the arsenal of lightning. Moving on, another cryptic and unorthodox and largely unseen mysterious Force Lightning variation that we know little about on the channel, also seen in Legends continuity, is Black Force Lightning. Black Force Lightning was notably and only used by Jaina Solo. Jaina Solo was one of the twin children of Han and Leia Solo, and the twin brother of Darth Sidious, one of the most powerful Sith Lords to ever live. While it is unclear how powerful Black Force Lightning is in the grand scheme of things, it is notable for being able to incapacitate and rehabilitate several Yuzong Vong warriors. The Yuzong Vong were a species of non-Force sensitives who, after committing great atrocities in their galaxy, were cut off from the Force entirely, making them immune to most lethal Force attacks and making the Jedi and Sith like toys to them. However, this could be rewound and woven in history, as it was noted that Yuzong Vong were exceptionally vulnerable to Force Lightning, making the Sith, during their takeover in the Yuzong Vong War, possibly the most deadly and potent foe, seeing as they had to use Force Lightning, the Sith's trademark ability that many powerful Sith used in the days of old. Many, like myself, have speculated that this coloration of Black Force Lightning is native and only relevant to the Skywalker bloodline. It should be also noted that Jaina Solo used this lightning coloration in a burst of pure rage and anger. And it could be noted that just because of the emotions coursing through her veins, propelling her power and the dark side forward, that she was unable to unleash a powerful torrent of Force Lightning that was coloured this unique inky black texture. This is mainly why Black Force Lightning is weaker than some of the other variations, despite its being mysterious. Black Force Lightning called upon limited hatred, as we saw with Jaina Solo. She called upon a burst of rapid anger that she did not expect. And she did not expect to feel this rage and unorthodox anger towards her target. It should also be noted that Black Force Lightning was one of the weaker variations. This was due to Jaina's training as a Jedi. If she was a Sith, it could possibly be one of the most potent and incinerating its opponents with a mere sting, similar to Darth Sidious's purple waves of Force Lightning. However, due to Jaina's past as a Jedi Knight of Luke's Jedi Order and a soldier of Luke's Jedi Praxium, Luke being her uncle, she was not able to delve fully into the dark side, hinting that it was possibly not as corrupting as the other variations on this list, and more akin to the next variation of Force Lightning we will be discussing. The following ability holds a special place in my heart, as it was utilized on a mission by my favorite Jedi of all time. This Jedi, if you have studied our videos and watched all our channels intently, you should know that my favorite Jedi is Plo Koon. Plo Koon used his coloration of lightning, with its coloration being distinct and separate from all the other lightning colors, being yellow or sometimes referred to as gold in the scenario he was using it. Plo Koon used this ability to rip the arms off of his ability, proving that it was not a light nor dark side ability, more of a grey ability, though some have speculated it is aligned with the light side. The Jedi Council were greatly worried about Plo Koon, believing that he delved too deeply into the dark side during this mission and might have to be expelled from the Order or the High Council itself. However, after study, Plo Koon believed that this was not a lethal force power, and after careful consideration, Yoda still admitted Plo Koon to use the ability throughout the rest of the Clone Wars conflict, proving that while it is powerful, it is not as strong and latently hateful as other Force Lightning variations, such as blue, purple, or red, to name a few, as the most powerful Force Lightning variations we have discussed on this list. Plo Koon, it should be noted, discovered this ability on complete accident after tracking down a serial killer during a mission after he had taken a young girl hostage. He released his rage and a partial bit of his anger towards the serial killer, imparting his judgment into the lightning, making it not as lethal but still incapacitating his enemy. It should also be noted that Plo Koon was not the only practitioner of electric judgment, as it was most commonly referred to. However, he was unquestionably the most famous practitioner of this unorthodox lightning colour. Plo Koon, after questions from the Jedi Council and hours of deep meditation, noted that he did not feel any hatred or lust for power when using this ability against the criminal. He just felt complete control and passion for his ability, wanting to induce judgment and bring justice to all who required it, and desiring, when using this ability, to bring justice and to bring the galaxy under the thrall of peace once again and extinguish the flames of war. Force Lightning was considered by many, including the Sith Darth Maul and Darth Sidious, to not be as powerful as regular Force Lightning, and just be an extension of the light side of the Force, putting it firmly in the grey area and not a perversion of the Force, like the dark side often enacted upon its victims. It should also be noted, however, that much more powerful beings also use yellow Force Lightning, hinting that sometimes it could be far more powerful than even blue or maybe even purple Force Lightning. Such notable practitioners were the soldiers and commanders of the Eternal Empire. The Eternal Empire was an empire that was constructed during the reign of Darth Vitia. After his Sith Empire fell, he controlled and adopted the name of Valkorion, earning the title of the Immortal Emperor after ruling his Eternal Empire for centuries. The most notable practitioner during the Eternal Empire era of Star Wars was none other than Vitia's actual son, Arcan. Arcan was a dark side practitioner and a dark side user with a latent ability and a midichlorian count even eclipsing that of Darth Sidious, clocking in at around 22 to 23,000 midichlorians per cell. However, it should be noted that the version of Force Lightning and Electric Judgment that Arcan used was much more powerful than Plo Koon's latter variant of the ability, unleashing yellow torrents and barrages of the yellow and gold storms that intertwined like spider webs, completely incinerating and ripping the flesh off of his enemies on mere contact. Meaning that yellow Force Lightning, while often when used by Jedi, a weaker ability, Arcan being able to tap into the light and dark sides of the Force during his lifetime made this ability one of the most powerful Force Lightning variations of its time, perhaps only second to that of Darth Vitia's Force Lightning, who we discussed earlier in this video. Further evidence is supported that yellow Force Lightning, while also and mainly being a light side affiliated ability, can also delve into the dark side. While Arcan is proof of this, we now have definitive canon proof from the Darth Vader comic series, in which Darth Maugus, an ancient Sith Lord who entombed his consciousness within a mask, was attempting to control an entire village using the power of the Force. He unleashed waves and tidal waves of yellow Force Lightning that bolstered his ability in the dark side tremendously. While it is unknown why Darth Maugus used this coloration of Force Lightning, we can definitively say that while it is mainly a light side affiliated ability, it can be certainly used by dark side practitioners, as backed up by Arcan and in canonical sources Darth Maugus. The next coloration and variation of the Force Lightning ability is Green Force Lightning, also referred to as Emerald Lightning or Green Force Judgment. Electric Judgment in its green form, also known as Emerald Lightning, as I will call it for the rest of the video. Emerald Lightning was similar to Yellow Force Lightning, although it could be used as a much grander and more catastrophic scale. It was mainly used in conjunction with Grandmaster Luke Skywalker in Legends continuity, where he used it in a variety of battles in order to ward off attackers and opposers to his rule. Grandmaster Luke Skywalker was quite proficient in this ability. However, according to my knowledge and my wide hours of research, I cannot differentiate why some Jedi affiliated with the light side that utilize Force Lightning are born with the innate ability to use Electric Judgment in its yellow form, and some have the ability to project torrents of Green Force Lightning as an emerald coloration. However, it should be noted, beings of immeasurable power often use yellow or Green Force Lightning, such as Plo Koon, but mainly Green Force Lightning was mainly used by more powerful practitioners of the Force, and it was possible that users of Green Lightning and Emerald Lightning were tapping into the more dangerous and darker aspects of its coloration and the darker side of Emerald Lightning. Now we are moving on to part 2 of the Emerald Lightning ability, and this one is one of my favorites, named Ichor Lightning. Ichor Lightning was most famously used by Mother Talzin against her duel with Mace Windu and her duel with Darth Sidious in the Son of Dathomir comic mini-series, I repeat. It is a very good comic series and I highly recommend you check it out. Mother Talzin channeled this ability, projecting torrents of Green Force Lightning from her fingertips by calling upon the spirits and power of the spirit Ichor that flowed from the roots of Dathomir. However, unlike another wide array of Force Lightning variations, Ichor Lightning was mainly concentrated into one singular being. However, this does not discount it from being one of the most powerful and formidable lightning colors, as when Mother Talzin used this ability during the skirmish known as the Battle of Dathomir during Clone Wars Season 4, it was noted that her proficiency with this ability was so great that she was able to destroy a B-1 battle droid in mere seconds, while also shielding her with the magics of the Night Sisters. While explaining the differences between the magics of the Night Sisters and the will of the Force is an immensely complicated thing to do, and something I frankly do not have time for in this video. I will certainly be going into more depth and more in-depth with this topic in a future video, as the Night Sisters are one of my favourite cultures in the Star Wars galaxy, and personally Mother Talzin is one of the most cryptic and interesting characters in all of Star Wars lore, with her instrument in the Clone Wars and proficiency in the magics being surpassed only by that of old Daka, the elder of the Night Sisters. But, Acolyte, I can sense through the Force the curiosity peeking into your skull, wanting to know the intricacies between Night Sister magics and the Force. So I will provide you with a brief explanation and will cover it more in depth on this subject in a later video. The brief explanation is that the Night Sisters did not believe in the Force, nor did they believe in the dark side or light side aspects of it. They believed in serving the will of the spirits in Night Sister culture, and the culture that Mother Talzin, as shaman of the Night Sisters, fought so hard and valiantly to uphold was that the Night Sisters and the spirits were existing in different realms. They were two gods, known as the Fanged and Winged gods, one being a goddess, being the Winged goddess, and one being a god, being the Fanged god. This is comparable to the daughter and son of Mortis. I will certainly cover this topic as well in a later video. But the Force and Night Sister magics are deeply intertwined, despite Mother Talzin's views on them being severely different to that of the Jedi and Sith's views. As Palpatine once stated about the Night Sisters, they could never achieve galactic dominance as they did not hand themselves over fully to the dark side of the Force's grasp, not wanting it to corrupt themselves, and still showed attachment for their sisters and for themselves, which in many ways is not comparable to the will of the Sith or the will of the Jedi, who are completely selfless and only care about others. But a moulding of these transitions and a moulding of these religions, being the Jedi and Sith fused together, could very well produce the Night Sister culture that I really enjoy watching and researching about. What What I find odd about this variation of Emerald Lightning in the form of Ichor Lightning is that the Night Sisters called upon the power of this ability by summoning the power of the Winged Goddess, or as we know her, the daughter of Mortis, in the living embodiment of the light side of the Force. This is severely interesting due to the fact that the daughter is the embodiment of the light side, and they did not call upon the more powerful and potent embodiment of the dark side of the Force in the formation of the Sun, in order to release more valuable and potent torrents of Force lightning that could even incapacitate and incinerate an opponent on sight if used to their fullest extent, like they could in Legends continuity with Darth Sidious and Darth Nihilus being notable practitioners of other variations of Force lightning. Mother Talzin most notably used this ability throughout the Clone Wars, and it was her last ability that she used as a last resort against Darth Sidious, Count Dooku, and General Grievous in the end and climax of the Son of Dathomir comic series, in which Mother Talzin was killed by Grievous and impaled through the chest using Grievous's two lightsabers. It is obvious that Ichor Lightning was drawn upon by the light side of the Force, as it was mainly fueled by Mother Talzin when she felt an attachment to her sisters, or in the Son of Dathomir comics respect, a desire to get revenge on Darth Sidious for stealing her son Maul all those years ago. However, while it was called upon by the daughter, the embodiment of the light side of the Force, it was heavily tainted by the influence and corrupted persona of the dark side of the Force, making it more powerful than, in my opinion, Black Lightning, or maybe on par with Blue or Emerald Lightning, and maybe even exceeding the power of Electric Judgment. While I am merely hypothesizing when I say this, I note and believe firmly that all Force Lightning works in this manner, with it considered being used for the right reasons and considered being used as a light side ability. It could be in the formation of a light side ability rather than its darker variation. However, by calling upon the emotions of the dark, such as haste, lust for power, and fury, you could channel it into more destructive and potent beams of energy that could completely incinerate your foes if you so desired. Now that brings us an end to today's video, and this was the final coloration of Force Lightning in the form of Emerald Lightning and Ichor Lightning. While the Night Sisters are certainly formidable and powerful in their own right, with Talzin and Daka being the most powerful by far in their ranks, the Night Sister culture and way of viewing the Force was far more complicated than it was for the Jedi and Sith, viewing it as the light and dark sides. However, it should be noted that in my opinion, the Force is intertwined with Force Lightning, with Force Lightning being used while encompassing a plethora of emotions that binds the user's intentions with the galaxy at large and what they intend to do. With their immensely lethal, innate ability to touch the Force in this dark or potentially light variation. However, that will bring us to the end of today's video, Acolyte. I hope you enjoyed, and just before you dip off and fly into a galaxy far, far away, ensure that you have hit the subscribe button and use your laser torrent on your ship in order to hit the like button, blasting it to oblivion, and ensuring the subscribe button by using the Force turn to a pale grey tone. That will be all, Acolytes, and I'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.